47 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists, a stat line that seems to have been taken straight out of a fantasy novel. But what if I told you there was more to this story? What if I told you this was the game where Larry Bird became Larry Legend? This story technically starts on February 12, 1986, 2 days before Larry Bird and the Celtics would face off against the Portland Trail Blazers. But to get better context, let's travel back to the beginning of the NBA season. During the 85-86 season, Larry Bird and his Celtics were on a complete tear. Larry Bird was dropping 30-point games every other night, while the Celtics were on their way to a 67-15 record. During the middle of the season, though, Larry Bird stated that the NBA was getting a little too boring for him, so he took it into his own hands to create a little bit more excitement. 2 days before his matchup with the Blazers, Bird stated on national TV that he would play with only his left hand for the first 3 quarters of the game. So fast forward 2 days, and Larry Bird is on the court with the Portland Trail Blazers, who currently have a 40-42 record and were a couple months from finishing second in the West. So this wasn't a team which you'd call complete trash. They were starring a young Clyde Drexler who was in his sophomore year of his NBA career. That being said, as the game got underway, Bird was off to the races. After tip-off, the Blazers brought the ball down the court, but Larry Legend was ready. As he waited in the post, he completely swatted a Blazers player. Not only that, but he covered his block and sent it hurtling down the court, where his teammate was waiting to lay it in. With that, Bird recorded the first stats of the game, all with his left hand. With the next play, Bird pump faked and smoothly drove down the right baseline before finishing with a tough left-handed floater. And then it was a left-handed layup, and then a left-handed dunk. But the man's superiority cannot be described in his words alone. That being said, just watch how effortlessly this man pierced through the Blazers' defense.
Got a chance to double up on him and force him to give the ball up.
Boy, anything he throws up is gone tonight. 26-25 game. Well, Bird's still down there.
There's nothing you can do about that when a guy...
Coming down to the 3-minute mark. Second quarter, Wedman for Parrish against Bowie. Too far, Bird's there. Bird and the Bird. Bird. Tied again.
Shot after shot, floater after floater, layup after layup. Everything was going in for Larry Bird. The man was practically unstoppable. The Celtics and Blazers traded possessions, and even though Bird was dominating, the Blazers were in fact ahead. With 5 minutes to go, Bird started to play a bit more seriously. Now he would unleash his wrath on the Blazers. Bird gets the ball in the post and shoots a layup and misses. He immediately goes up for the rebound and hits a tough falling shot on the Blazers. The score is now 101-98. Blazers are up and the Celtics have some work to do. With 40 seconds left, Kevin McHale brings the ball down the court. He suddenly stops and jumps up trying to get the ball down into the paint, but is immediately stripped of the possession, and the ball finds its way back into the Trailblazers' hands. With 20 seconds left, the ball finds its way to Clyde Drexler. Clyde calls for the screen and gets one and blows past his defender. Now he's in the paint, only a couple feet from the basket. The Blazers are leading by 3, and if he sinks this, the Blazers will now have a 4-point lead, sealing the game. Drexler suddenly spins in the paint, tucking the ball close to him, then throws up a beautiful left-handed floater. The ball barely rolls out as Bird regains possession. Instantly seeing that Dennis Johnson was already halfway up the court, Larry Bird chucks the ball directly into his hands. Dennis Johnson sprints down the court, though defenders from the Blazers are gaining. He gets trapped near the baseline at the 3-point line and spots Bird, who just ran down the court. Johnson dimes the ball off to Bird, who hits his defender with a pump fake. There's no way he could hit a 3 in this scenario, so he steps forward in near the free throw line and sinks a jumper with 0.6 of a second remaining. The Blazers immediately call a timeout, and they fail to convert on their next possession, and then overtime begins. Robert Parrish comes up clutch on the tip-off as Bill Walton comes up with the basketball, and the Celtics now have the first possession. The Celtics run a double screen for Bird as he emerges open at the elbow. Johnson hits Bird and Larry sinks his shot. A couple plays later, Celtics are down 1 and the score is 119-118. Bird throws the ball in and Robert Parrish receives it. Immediately, Bird runs out onto the court, but isn't given any space to breathe. Parrish dishes the ball off to Dennis Johnson and sets a screen for Bird. In an instant, Dennis Johnson threw a nifty pass to Bird, who then called for the rest of the team to clear out. With 5 seconds remaining, Bird comes up onto the elbow, then drives down. At this point, he's being double-teamed, but he's already activated killer mode. With 3 seconds to go, he rises up into the air with 3 hands in his face and lets the ball go. The entire arena goes silent as they watch the ball float into the air, then swish into the basket. The crowd erupts with excitement as the Celtics are now deemed the winners of the game. That game, Bird showed his dominance with a 47-point triple-double. He kept up on his word and did exactly what he said he would do. He scored every point with his left hand for 3 quarters. 22 of his 47 points, though, were scored with his offhand. One may ask for his reason for doing so, and according to Bird, he needed to save his right hand for the Lakers. And it turns out it worked, because 2 days later, Larry Legend finished with 22 points, 18 rebounds, and 7 assists, clinching a win over the Lakers. The Celtics later on went to win the championship. This game will always be remembered. Yet this wasn't the only story of Bird's dominance. While researching for this topic, I couldn't believe some of the things I read about him, so I had to include another story or two in here. So please enjoy yourself for the next couple of stories I have. We all know that Larry Bird is one of the best trash talkers of all time, but the thing was that trash talking players had gotten too boring and easy for him, so instead he devoted his time to trash talking coaches. One time against the Pistons, Bird was being guarded by a young Dennis Rodman. Rodman tried to do everything he could against Bird but was failing miserably. Bird kept hitting shot after shot after shot. Even though Rodman was smothering him, Bird would yell, "I'm open," to his teammates and proceeded to drain a 3 in Rodman's face. After getting bored with completely annihilating Rodman, he went up to Pistons coach Chuck Daly and asked, "Who's guarding me, Chuck? Is anyone guarding me?" And one time against the Jazz, he looked at Jazz coach Frank Layden and asked if he had anyone on the bench who could guard him. Layden looked at his bench and just shook his head. So yeah, there you go. Larry Bird was quite the savage, and I know there are a lot more Larry Bird stories out there, and if you want me to make a list of the best ones, then get this vid to 20 likes, and I'll drop that. Remember, only about 35% of you guys are subbed, but I'm not here to inform you guys about the sub counts anymore. By the time I drop this video, we'll either be past 100 subs or right about to reach it. So I just want to thank you guys. We're dropping a huge video in the next week or two, so keep your eyes out for that. And with that, please be safe out there because Rona cases are shooting up. And until next time, it's Ish signing off.